Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's been a hot minute since we've been on here with you, and we've had an extremely busy summer, like I'm sure y'all have. It's a working homestead here, and so we're always in the process of doing something. We have been filming as we go and hope to get more videos up. So I thought today we would do some canning. It's just some basic canning, but any of you beginners out there, this is some great beginning produce to get started with. So last night I had 3 boxes come in from the Mennonites. I've got peaches, I've got pears, and then Andrew's going to come around with me to the other side over here. And I have a box of apples to do for y'all. So we're going to get busy canning all that. But first, yesterday I took Aroma and Amish tomatoes and put them in my roasting pan. And I just simmered them down the entire day. Once they were simmered down, I ran them through a gadget I have that attaches to my KitchenAid, and it took all the seeds and the skins off of it. And then I had to continue to boil this down earlier today to get to the consistency of tomato sauce. So first we're going to do tomato sauce. So I do my tomato sauce a little different, or at least I'm going to today. Tomato sauce is a higher acid produce. So typically you can water bath can it, but I'm expecting to get quite a few quarts of this, and they won't all fit in. So I'm going to do 1 batch in my pressure canner. It will pressure can for less time than it would water bath can for, and I'll be able to get them all done in 1 batch instead of having to do 2 batches. So come along and I'll show you as I finish up the tomatoes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've got some citric acid here, and even though, like I said before, tomatoes are a higher acid fruit or produce, I'm going to add a 1/2 teaspoon to each jar of citric acid. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do right now. I like to make my own tomato sauce. I like to make my own anything because I know what goes into it. There's a little more, the quality control I can control. I don't know how many quarts I'm going to get, but also the thing with tomato sauce I do want to say is I feel like it tastes fresher. One of Andrew's favorite things is homemade tomato soup, which I'll make with this sauce. And then I'll make homemade sourdough bread, and we'll make grilled cheese sandwiches with sourdough bread and homemade tomato soup, and it is so good. It does have a fresher taste in my opinion. Maybe it's just my thought process because I grew them in my garden myself, but I do like it when I make it myself. So I'm going to go ahead and fill my jars. You're going to need a funnel here. Not a funnel. The funnel, Andrew says. One of these contraptions here. When you get this busy in the summer, guys, the kitchen's always a mess and you're always tired. So you're going to need one of these. I'm going to fill the jars. Our head space is 1/4 inch on the tomato sauce. So I'm going to get it as close as I can, and we'll see how many jars we can get. So we filled up 13 plus most of a 14th, which we won't be able to can because it's not going to have the headspace jars. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to boil 14 rings. I had prepared 16 because I was guessing we would get 16. So those sit for a few minutes. If you are new to canning, this is one of the tools you'll want to invest in. It's not very expensive. You can get it at Amazon, you can get it at Walmart, you can probably find it at Dollar General. Most stores will sell it as a kit with usually the funnel. This has got a magnet on the end of it. And then the other thing that it also gives you, which I'll show you how to use in a minute if you're not familiar, this will take the air bubbles out of your canning project. It's also used to help judge headspace. So the top one is 1 inch, that's 3/4 inch, that's 1/2 inch, and the bottom is 1/4 inch. And I'll show you how we're going to use it in just a minute. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and get these first lids out. They've been in here a few minutes. You see, it's just a magnet, so I don't have to reach in with anything else. The other thing that you're going to need is a small amount of vinegar. I don't know if this is required. That's what's in here is white vinegar. I'm going to wipe the lids down over here in a minute with this vinegar. It's going to just help take any of the tomato sauce that might have spilled around the edges that might keep our jars from sealing. We really want to get 100% seals if we can. And usually I'm pretty good at that, but I'm very careful about making sure my surfaces are clean. The next thing I'm going to do is we have our lids. That was our rings. These are our lids. And I guess the protocol these days is that you don't have to boil these or put them in hot water to get them to seal. I tried doing the new protocol and not boiling them and had a high percentage of non-sealing jars. So I always go ahead and put them in the hot water and let them sit here until we're ready to put them on. And then we will measure our jars and wipe them down and get them ready to put in the canner. So we're looking for that 1/4 inch, and it looks like some of these I need to add some to. So I'm going to go ahead and come back in and add them to them. So it really is important to get the correct headspace. The correct headspace is vital in getting a good seal and keeping your food fresh and making it safe for y'all. So I really want to stress getting the correct headspace. Maybe some people don't worry about it as much, but I've tried being a little more lackadaisical. Oh, that's just off a little bit, and I don't get the seals. So again, it's something I do to get a good seal and for food preservation safety. So this is our jar that's not quite full that we cannot can, so we'll have to use fresh. I guess when you make biscuits and you have the last little bit of biscuit dough and you call it the dummy biscuit, this will be our dummy jar. So I'm just going to wipe it down a little bit and put the lid on it, and I will use it in the next couple of days in a recipe, a soup or chili or something like that. We'll use it. Okay, I'm going to set this to the side and I'll put it in the fridge in a bit. So now I'm going to go ahead and clean the rims of the jars just to make sure we don't have any particles that could keep our jars from sealing. Okay, I just got done cleaning the surface of the jars with our vinegar, and I'm placing our lids, and then I'm going to put the rings on. The jars are a bit hot. We would not want to put them into a water bath canner that the water's been warming up in cold, because it could crack the jars or break them. So we're going to put the rings on finger tight. Finger tight is just exactly what it says, where you're just tightening them with your fingers. So our jars are all ready to go into the canner. As I said before, we're pressure canning these. I like to can on my back porch, especially in the temperatures we're having today. Today's going to be 95 with the humidity and the heat index. We could be 100 here. So rather than really heat my house up, I'm going to can outside. So we'll go ahead and remove the lid from our canner and start filling our canner with these jars. So this is an all-American canner. I don't remember the size of it other than to tell y'all that it is the second from the largest one that they make. We've been happy with it, very happy with it. They sell all the replacement parts if you ever need any, which you probably won't. It's sturdy, we love it, and I can highly recommend All-American Canners. They don't sponsor me, I just love them. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the lid. We'll go ahead and just get that canner loaded. Okay, so we've got our lid on our pressure canner and it's all secured down. This little piece right here is a vent What we're waiting for next, if you don't have experience with a pressure canner, is for a steady flow of steam to come out. I can hear it starting to come, but it needs to be steady, and then we'll set a timer for 10 minutes. Okay, so we've been timing the steam for 10 minutes now, and I'm going to put, this is our weight, it looks like this. And we're going to put 15 pounds of pressure for 15 minutes. So we do have to wait before we start the 15 minutes. We have to wait for it to start jiggling, and then we'll start a 15-minute timer. Okay. So our timer for 15 minutes just went off, so we're going to turn off the gas, and it needs to sit and come down to 0 pressure. We'll be back with you when we get down to 0 psi. So we've come down to pressure. The gauge tells us it's at 0. I'm going to remove my weight, set it to the side. We now need to wait for 2 minutes. Then we can open it up and see what she looks like. So now we're just going to go ahead and unscrew these, and we'll take a look and see what we have. Keep our fingers crossed everything went well. Looks good. Yeah. So we finished our project today, our canning tomato sauce. It's not that hard, guys. It's pretty easy. I hope you give it a try. If y'all do can tomato sauce, let me know any special recipes, anything you do with it to add a little more flavor. Be happy to see what those are. Okay guys, we're on to the next canning project. It's our pears. I have this box of pears that I ordered from the Mennonites. It's a bushel, so however many there are in a bushel, minus a couple that we've eaten. So any guesses as to how many pints we're going to do today? Put your guesses in the comments and we'll see how many we get. So I'm going to start by peeling and coring these. I have a bowl over here that has a gallon of water with a half a cup of lemon juice. So I'm going to be putting them in as I peel them. And that is to keep them from turning brown. So that's the plan, and that's what we're going to be starting with on this next canning our pears project. So I went ahead and I'm making our syrup. It's a light syrup, and I'm doing 4.5 cups of sugar to 10.5 cups of water. I'm going to bring this to a boil at this point. So I have brought our simple syrup to a boil, turned it off. Now I'm going to add the pears one layer at a time into the syrup, and they're going to stay there for 5 minutes. Now I'm going to start packing some of our jars and getting them ready. I'm just adding the pears into that, and then we'll cover them with the hot liquid when we're ready to go, and we'll get the lids on and get them in the water bath canner. So I'm going to go ahead, and I've gone around all these, and I'm taking the air bubbles out of them, and then I will be adjusting for a 1/2 inch headspace and putting our lids on, and we'll be good to go. So Kevin is putting them in our water bath canner, and we're going to go for 20 minutes for process time. Once we come up to boil, we'll set the timer for 20 minutes. Well, hi everyone. This is the next morning. We did get 2 batches of pears canned yesterday, and then we had plans to go and watch a couple of our friends play music in town. And so we went off and had a good time. That means we didn't get quite all the pears done, but we did have a good time. So this is going to end this particular video, and we'll pick back up on another video with what we're going to do with the rest of the pears. So thank you for watching. If you like it, please like, subscribe, and share. And we're going to leave you with a little bit of the music we enjoyed last night, and hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.